Hi guys, AFL here, and today we're going to be doing another round review video for round 9. So, I scored 2,420, which is in the top 4%, which is pretty good considering my season so far, and that I'm only in the top 8% overall. But, to be honest, I really think I could have done better because a lot of my players underperformed. So my season rank is 12,847. Hopefully in the next few rounds we can try to get up to 10,000 rank. So anyway, this video took a lot of effort to make, so please like and subscribe. And let's get into the team. So now into the team. So I'm going to be doing it a little bit different this week. So instead of going, I'll go over all of my players as usual, but instead of going from defenders to forwards, I'll actually go game by game, including a quick summary of each game along the way. And then what I'll do is I'll show you a watch list of players who I think you should either get in now or be looking to get in the future. Then, lastly, I'll be showing you the trades I'm doing for this week and how I'm going to be preparing for the bye. So the first game was Richmond vs Western Bulldogs. So the Bulldogs were actually considered a chance heading into this game after winning their last two games, including a huge 42-point win over Essendon, who were in really good form at the time. But eventually, Richmond won by 41. The damage was done in the first half. Richmond led by 20 at the first quarter and 40 at halftime. This was thanks to a firing forward line and rampant rookies and Dusty, who was back to his best with 3 goals and 26 disposals. Now into some of my players who played in this game. Dusty got 184, which is really good. I think everyone has him. Now Pickett, pretty much the same, really good, everyone has him. And McRae, 162, really excellent. He's showing the form that we all knew he could have at the start of the season. If you don't have him in, definitely get him in now. And then Bailey Smith, 76. I traded him in last round, and I expected at least 100 from him. But, I'll keep him. Because, it's not that bad, and his break-even is still pretty small. But on to the second game. Melbourne vs Port Adelaide. Although overwhelming favourites and sitting on top of the ladder, Port still had something to prove with this game, after an embarrassing loss to St Kilda by 29 the week before. Another loss to an average team in Melbourne would have raised some questions. So Port ended up winning by 51. This was as a result of quick, confident ball movement and an overall dominant midfield. They also showed good signs sharing their goals, 12 goals between 8 players, with rookie Georgiades scoring 3 of them. So Oliver got 105, which, is a bit disappointing for what he's shown lately, but it's not that bad considering the rest of Melbourne's score. Same with Prashaka, and Gawn was just very disappointing. Georgiades, 55, he definitely deserved more than that. He scored 3 goals, was almost best on ground, and had, the third highest fantasy or something. But yeah, one of the lowest Supercoach. So that was a bit weird. But anyway, on to the next game. Carlton vs Hawthorn. So Carlton were considered red-hot favourites heading into this match. Some even considered them top 8 contenders. And one particular person considered them better than Richmond. But obviously we all know that's not true. So compared to a bottom 4 team, Hawthorn, whose slow game style seemed averse to scoring. However, Hawthorn ended up winning by 31 points. This was thanks to a great comeback after Carlton kicked the first 5 goals of the match. This comeback was thanks to the dominance around the ball. A major contributor to this was Tom Mitchell, who had a breakout game, gathering 28 disposals and 8 tackles. So for this game I had Paddy Cripps, who scored 149, which is really good coming back into form after some mediocre games just before. Doherty also had some mediocre games before, and 91, it's pretty good compared to the 60s he was putting out, but still, I expect a lot better from him. Sicily got 88, pretty average for him, but he's scoring 150, 160 every few weeks, so that should be fine. Mitchell, 164, really good performance, really happy with that. Now, Essendon versus Brisbane. So coming into the game, both teams were looking great with just 2 losses each. However, a few injuries for Essendon as well as a small percentage of just 102 painted Brisbane as slight favourites. Brisbane ended up winning by 63 points. This is a result of Lachie Neale's excellent performance, kicking 2 goals and gathering 33 disposals, as well as the Lions' overall scoring power, winning 14 goals, 4 of them belonged to Charlie Cameron. So Ridley got 88, which I'm slightly disappointed with, but he did gather a lot of possessions, so I'm quite happy with his game, even though he didn't score much, and I'll definitely keep him in. And then obviously Lachie Neale, I captained him 157, really good, as we all know he can perform like that. So the next game, North Melbourne versus Adelaide. As with all Adelaide's games this year, it was done before the opening bounce. Even having lost 5 games in a row, North was still considered heavy favourites. And this was proved true, North winning by 69. This was thanks to a quicker, more free-flowing ball movement, which allowed quick scoring against a weak Adelaide defence. Overall, North managed to score 19 goals and 5 behinds. This was particularly impressive, seeing as their big key forward Ben Brown was dropped for the match. Some major contributors included Anderson and McDonald. So for this game, Hamill scored 18, which is really disappointing. He's been so inconsistent, really annoying, like scoring 96 last week. And then Taylor 43, a bit disappointing. I think I'll have to trade him out because he looks like he's reached his max price. So the next game, West Coast versus Geelong. This game was set up to be a huge this was set up to be a huge game with 2 top teams, with a huge West Coast crowd. And it was because of this crowd that I would consider West Coast slight favourites. West Coast ended up winning by 9 points. This match was a tale of 2 halves. Geelong dominated the first half, scoring a very accurate 7 goals straight to 4 goals 2, to lead at half-time by 16 points. In the third quarter, West Coast got the game back onto their terms, halving Geelong's lead, entering the final change only 8 points behind. West Coast actually outscored Geelong by 4 goals to 1 in the last quarter to make the first comeback from behind at 3/4 time since the restart. So my players from this game were Close and Simpson, 2 Geelong rookies. Close was okay with 53, and Simpson was excellent with 80. He even had to go off for an extended period of time in the last quarter to get 8 stitches in his eye, and still managed to keep playing, which is really good. So now Gold Coast versus GWS. Going into this game, GWS considered favourites after beating Richmond by 12 points the week before. Gold Coast's dream run at the beginning of the season also seemed to be long gone after losing 3 of their last 4 games. GWS eventually won by 26 points. In this game, the Giants were just way too good for the Suns, who looked tired and unwilling to attack. Some major contributors for GWS were Whitfield, Hopper, Taranto, Canelio and Williams in his return from injury. So some of my players in this were Buderick, Rankin and Whitfield. So Buderick scored a respectable 50. I think he was a lot better in the first half than he was in the second. Rankin didn't have a great day and scored 34, but I think he still has a lot of cash to make, and he could at any time do a breakout game of 100. He's just that sort of player. Whitfield, excellent, back to his best, 148. So for the final game of the round was Collingwood versus Fremantle. Collingwood came into the match as strong favourites, being considered by many as premiership contenders, compared to Fremantle, who are effectively sitting last, because let's be honest, Adelaide are just a free win. Fremantle won by 12 points though in an upset. This match was hard fought and close, in which both teams looked like they could win at different stages. An example of this was when Collingwood piled on 3 straight goals at the end of the third quarter to lead at the final change by 4 points. However, Fremantle prevailed as a result of their dominance in the middle, gathering 151 contested possessions to 115 back home. Some of my players in this game: Jack Crisp got 99. A little bit disappointing by him. He had a really good third quarter, but not so good in the last. Noble was really good with 102. I was going to trade him, but now that he's scored 102, I think he can definitely make some more cash. And Grundy 118, which is okay for him, but pretty good considering last week's like 64. Now, onto the watch list. So the first player on my watch list is Tom Stewart. So he was injured in round 4, very early in the game, so he only got 18 points. So that's why his price is pretty discounted at like 430, I think. So if we ignore that that game where he got injured, he's actually averaged 107.4, including 145 this week, which is really good as well. He also gets a lot of the ball because of Geelong's chip kick sort of style in their backline. And another Geelong player who's in similar circumstances, Duncan. So I think Duncan's extremely underrated. And the reason that he's so discounted at like 530-ish is because in round 6 he only got 13 because he was like injured early, just as Stewart was. But if we ignore that game, he's actually averaged a huge 126.5, which is honestly really good, and I really didn't expect that until I looked into it. And he's also been really consistent, and none of his scores this season, apart from obviously in round 6, have dropped below 120. Okay, so next person on the watch list is Nat 5. So in the first 3 games of the season, he scored 110, 143, and 166 respectively. But has been injured for a little bit, and his break even's like really high, like 217 or something. So he's definitely going to go down a lot, and hopefully in a few weeks he can drop to almost 550 if we're lucky. So I don't think we get him now, but a little bit later. This is the same with Simpkin. He was a very popular pick at the start of the year and performed really well, but lately he hasn't really been performing too well, and that's why his price is so low. So just like his form in the first few rounds 1 to 6, he averaged almost 120. You can round it to 120. So yeah, his break even is still pretty high, so maybe wait another round for him. And now the last player is Jake Lloyd. He's just so consistent. He's been absolutely huge for the Swans, and I think a lot of top teams have him, just because he's scoring so well. Because of this, I just really want to get him in, but I just haven't been able to because he really hasn't been at a discounted price. He's been always like above 600,000. It's just been so hard to get him. But I think I'm definitely on the lookout if he drops price, or if I can earn a bit more money, I'll definitely have a look at him. So that's my watch list. On with the trades. So what I want to do this round, what I originally wanted to do was get in Stewart and Duncan. But unfortunately, I did a few calculations before the round, and they were pretty wrong. I got them a bit off, so I'm not going to be able to afford Stewart and Duncan. So I'm actually going to go for Stewart instead, just because he's a little bit cheaper. It's a very hard decision. So first, I'll probably trade out some rookies just to earn a bit of cash, and also Bailey Williams, like, he just hasn't played, so obviously I'll just get him out. I think also Curtis Taylor has reached his maximum price, and Tom Green, I'm not sure if he's playing again, and yeah, basically. And then, so I want to get 2 rookies in as well, so what I'll do, I'll clear a space in the ruck, because as you might have seen, I haven't actually got Cameron in. I said I was going to get him in, instead I got Georgiades, and because I needed cover for the ruck. But what I'm going to do this round is actually get covered for the ruck because I didn't last round. So I get Sam Draper, only played one game, hasn't gone up in price, 73, really good score. I just think, like, Essendon really rate him. I think he'll definitely keep his spot. And one more rookie. I really had no idea who to go for this next rookie. So, James Bell, I know almost nothing about him. Please suggest if you know any better rookies to get than him, because, yeah, I didn't research him at all. Yeah, not very confident in that. And then, obviously, Stewart. So, those are my trades. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed, like, the new format with, like, game by game, and then watch list, and then the trades. If you did like that, please comment. And even if you didn't like it and you want me to go back to doing it the old way, definitely comment that as well. And thank you for watching. There was so much effort that went into this video, so please like and subscribe.